it's Sherri from A Quilting Life. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Today I'm going to talk about jelly rolls. I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks that'll help you when you sew with them. And of course these tips will also apply to their smaller counterpart, the honey buns. So if you like to sew with jelly rolls, then I hope that you'll enjoy this post and learn a few tricks to help you in your sewing. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to do that. And now let's get going. So the first thing about jelly rolls is, well, they're awfully cute, aren't they, in their packaging. Sometimes it's hard to unroll them, but they save so much time when you use them for your projects. I get a lot of questions about jelly rolls, and one of the questions is, how do I sew with a jelly roll? Now, molded jelly rolls measure exactly 2.5 inches from the outer edge to the other outer edge. Different manufacturers vary somewhat. So if you're not using a molded jelly roll, you'll need to measure your strips. Some of them can be larger, some of them can be just a bit smaller, and some of them have a deeper cut on the pinked edges that really can affect your sewing. So if you're using a molded jelly roll, rule of thumb is that the strip is exactly 2.5 inches wide from the outer pinked edge to the other outer pinked edge. Other manufacturers, check your measurements. One downfall to molded jelly rolls, if it can be called a downfall, is that all these little pieces of lint can get all over your clothes, all over your room, all over your sewing area. And so one tip that I like to do is to use a lint roller, just any lint roller, and go over it before I even take the jelly roll apart. So if you just kind of rub the lint roller a few times, you'll see that you're picking up quite a bit of lint on the lint roller. You can change the paper out, do it again, you can do it on the other side. It just really helps to get rid of some of that additional lint. So that's one tip for those. Another tip is that when you first unroll the jelly roll, there might be some pretty, depending on how long it's been rolled, you'll probably want to iron it. And using steam is a great way to just get that curve, that natural wave that's in the jelly roll. So I press all of my strips after unrolling them with steam, just a simple press to make sure that they're flat and prepared for cutting. Of course, all of these tips, remember, apply to honey buns, which are the 1.5 inch wide strips of fabric that are similar to the jelly rolls, which are 2.5 inches wide. And that same measurement information that I gave you before with the jelly roll, for the molded honey buns, it's exactly 1.5 inches from the outer pinked edge to the other outer pinked edge. Okay, so for a few more tips about jelly rolls, because another question I get asked is, how do I use a jelly roll? First of all, there are lots of patterns created specifically for jelly rolls, and those patterns generally save you a lot of time because your strips are already pre-cut. But there's other things you can do with jelly rolls as well. I like to store extra jelly roll strips together for scrap quilts. You can also cut 2.5 inch squares from jelly roll strips, which is another commonly used piece of fabric in lots of patterns. You can piece them together and make placemats. You can piece them together for tote bags. You can make 9 patches out of your extra jelly roll strips, or 16 patches, or 25 patches, or however many patches you want to make. You can, strip piece them for those and save a lot of time by chain piecing. Something else you can do with jelly roll strips is simply just to sew them together so that you have them for extra backing pieces, or you can also use them in extra strips and create scrappy bindings. And I have some posts on some of these topics that I'll link at the bottom so that you can go to a specific post about all of these different ideas that I do with jelly roll strips. And I also have a post with 10 tips for jelly rolls that I'll link at the bottom of the post. Jelly rolls, like I said, are one of my favorite pre-cuts. Not just because of how cute they are, but also because they really do save a lot of time in the sewing room. So I hope you enjoyed this video with some of my favorite tips and thoughts on jelly roll strips. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thanks so much for stopping by.